Hey guys, this is SWTOR, and today I'm going to be giving you my Infiltration Shadow PvP video. And we're on the new map, Odessen, and I'm pretty well geared. I'll talk about it later if there's a lull in the fighting. But basically, I did a little bit of min-maxing of my gear. My discipline didn't really change too much, but it's another good game where I show how the right gear really makes a difference. I'm starting to get the good crits. You can quickly kind of see it. I have really high crit, almost a little too high. I don't think you want to go too much over it. It's 70 and I'm at 72 right now. So I'm definitely hitting very hard in the battle. Quick look at my discipline, nothing too special there. I don't think I changed it since I did the last guide. So we had a healer on the chat, so that's always good to see in these games, especially when the cluster fighting. Everyone's health goes down very quickly if you don't have a healer. So just running outside, you want to make sure that one of your fast people are getting the little special abilities. And when I'm on my mercenary, when I'm on my tank, I'm usually not doing this, but when you're on a shadow and operative, you're quick, you're able to move around, and you really should be getting these. So this right here is one that speeds up, and so I try to stun this guy, but unfortunately he bubbles and deactivates our zone before we can use it, and so that's a pretty good move by him. He used his bubble and immunity so that he was able to free cast and use one of the other abilities to deactivate. So it takes me a couple seconds to realize that they actually deactivated it and that I can move off the node, but when I do, I quickly go forward and start going down on a target. Now I see this operative right here, so I'm making sure to do a little quick burst over here, and when he gets pulled back, stun him, and then using my spinning strike to finish him off. Now as this guy comes over, I use my pushback as a gap closer, and again, if you're looking at things straight as a DPS, your pushback actually does damage, so if you have nothing to do as a shadow and you're just trying to move towards someone, maybe push them back a little bit. It'll interrupt them and do anything else to just improve your DPS. Now as you see, I'm doing some great progress on this mark here, even through his energy shield and a couple big crits. I'm able to finish him off. Doing some AoE attacks in the middle of things because there's a lot of people there. Push back to separate him, and then jump forward on another mercenary, this time finishing him off as well. But he's getting some heals, and so it's taking me a little bit longer. Moving forward, a couple big crits, and he's finished off. Again, switching targets right away, using AoE as I pick out my next target. And once I pick someone off, break the stun, and then move forward again. I see this guy has an item, and as shadows we want to make sure we have items, so I finish him off with a nice spinning strike, and then move forward again. This item is not a point increase item, it is instead a activate one, so I don't want to be on the node with this one. Obviously I want to clear people out because there's a lot of focus on this node right here, but instead with this one I should activate one that I don't already have. So again, you want to make sure you're using your taunts, especially in the big fighting. I made sure to do that. Saw the saber reflex, so I used only melee attacks, and then once we finish them off, I move forward to a node that we do not have. And it's really worth your time to kind of memorize the map and know which symbols are which, so I made sure not to go with the one they had, the purple little spaceship, but instead the other symbol on this side. So I called in the chat for people to follow me because I wasn't sure if we needed to defend it, but it ended up that no one was there for the rest of the round. Set a phase walk and then healed up. You want to make sure you're doing your phase walk in the middle because a tactic that I sometimes use my shadow, I saw them fighting, but you want to stay on side in your node, so I try to do an attack or a spinning or my low slash, but you want to make sure you're staying in the node so that it doesn't get reset. So as I was saying, when you're doing your attacks, you want to make sure that you plant your phase walk inside, because when I am a shadow, I sometimes push people out and then stun them, and so if your phase walk is in the middle, then you can always phase walk back in through a stun, and that you'll defend the node easier. So I'm just staying inside here, jumping up to make sure the other guy knows to put a little healing thing on me. That's always great after the fights, and then moving forward again. Going outside, I take a quick look around me and then see a couple people in, so I stealth out. Then as this guy is moving forward, I go, and then I was about to grab the special ability, but it decided to do some DPS instead. Threw a couple attacks on him, low slash, got the ability, and then the other guy got pushed off, so I switched targets quickly, used my potency and shadows as a gap closer, and then finished him off with the rest of the team. Now, as this guy comes over, I stun the power tech because he's on hydraulic overrides, and then attack the other guy. I use my resilience because I was getting attacked by a scoundrel, and all of their attacks are tech attacks. If we use our resilience, we basically have immunity to all their attacks. And since he came out of stealth, that's the best time to use it because scoundrels and operatives have very good out of stealth burst. So I kind of go back and forth, not really sure what to do, but then I remember that I have the activate thing again. So I move forward to the node that we're right next to so that we can get more points on the board. It's a pretty close game and we're a little bit behind, so I make sure to activate it and then defend it. Now, this was kind of a miscommunication, again, playing in my phase walk because of the same reasons. It's kind of miscommunication because at this point, we're behind. We really need to get more points, and so I kind of wanted that Sage to guard, so I was kind of looking at him like, you're not going to lead, right? You're just going to guard here. And so as I moved away, I checked back again, and unfortunately, he started to move outside the zone, so I was like, no, don't do that, and ran back inside the zone. And as there's another guard, and he looks like he's staying inside the zone, I'm able to move outside, looking back over my shoulder just to make sure he's not going to leave, and then looking back over my shoulder again to make sure that no one's trying to jump him. Now, as the round comes to a close, I move to the top level, and this way I can grab a power-up right as the round starts. If you look at the map and the mechanics of this PvP Warzone, the power-ups come a little before the maps reset. So instead of looking at the maps first, you should look at the power-ups and then go to the map location. I saw that I wanted to go to the closest one right here, so I made sure to jump down. This ability is a speed-up ability, so I want to make sure I can cap one of these objective areas and then use it immediately. Now notice my positioning behind the box. I moved to the other side of the box so the guy couldn't jump to me and interrupt me. That way I was able to place this speed up on this ground right here so that we were able to defend it and get more points with it. So again, just kind of doing some attacks. You want to make sure you're throwing out your taunts because it looks like he's a juggernaut, but the way he's hitting it looks like he may be geared more to DPS like I sometimes do. So your taunts are really helpful for him. So again, making sure the other guys kind of leave the node. I want to be on the node. I want to be kind of behind his back. But as other people go to the nodes, I step outside, do my attacks as I close him down. Push back to push the other guy away, and then move forward to use my spin strike to finish him off. Now, unfortunately, that guy deactivates our ground again, and this is something that this team does really well. They deactivate the ones that, not only the ones that we own, but the ones that have special points. Because they interrupted this node instead of the north turret node, they essentially stopped us from getting more points, and so that's really good. You want to make sure if you have one of those deactivate a control point abilities that you use them on the control points that have any sort of buff on them so that you can do greater protection for your own team. So I kind of move forward using my attacks and just to finish them off really quick. As you see, I'm getting consistent 15, 16k spinning strikes. Really good force breaches, and this is kind of credit to the gearing. And although I always say gearing doesn't make a big difference, if you really hit those power augments, or sorry, excuse me, crit augments and a couple power augments, you'll do pretty well. Now watch how I take down this guy right here. I'm behind his back. I use my breaches and my stun, so I'm able to get behind his back and consistently do damage. Again, LOSing him, going behind his back, and so I can essentially go the entire fight without him attacking me once. And that's what Shadows are really good at. We're good at the quick out of burst. This gear is making my attacks punch really hard, and because I'm able to move around, stay behind his back, go through my rotation and get a solid burst, I'm able to get him down quickly without having to use any of my attacks. So then when I go here, I try to draw one of these guys out and trying to kind of draw him off the node, but I get jumped pretty hard. I have to use my resilience to dodge a couple stuns and then move forward up on top of here. And I get pushed back, and these guys don't really see me, so I kind of run off. Now the problem here is one of the Shadow's best defenses is our stealth out, but you cannot stealth out if you have a special ability with you. Right now I think it's a power-up ability. And so what I do is I scroll, target my nearest friend, and pass on the ability to him. That way I can stealth out, and he still carries the ability. He's a tank, so he's able to stay alive a little bit, and so I can go around the pillar, heal up. And I kind of feel bad because there's not a lot I can do to help him. It's a 3-on-1 over there. I would die pretty quickly. He gets pulled back. I kind of think it's useless, so I move forward, look where we are on the other node, Looks like there's someone here, but I still feel kind of bad, and the tank's still surviving. So I move forward and just do some DPS here. I don't know if I would count this as a mistake. It was definitely a game choice that may have not been helpful in the long run, but I felt bad about leaving the guy who put guard on me and saved me from the 3 people that jumped me. So I stunned one on the edge, made sure to use my taunts and try to take some of the focus off him, use the speed increase, and then he dies, unfortunately. Now when I go here, I'm trying to do my last effort. I go near the edge, turn around, resilience, push up back, and I don't push the guy off the edge, unfortunately, and they kill me. But especially on this new map of Odessan, there's a lot of ledges, and so if you have a pushback and you're able to lead someone to the edge and then turn around quickly and push them off, you're in a good ability to kill someone without having to use any of your defensives. So I kind of stealth out here. There's a bunch of people around this area, but I go right to the back. I see this Merc, and Mercs are not only are squishy, but as you could tell because he was free casting a straight shot, he was a dot Merc. And dot Mercs are especially effective because they're dot class and they have a dot spread, and they can do extra damage in this cluster fighting. So I made sure to go for him right away. As you can see, I'm making huge progress on him and able to finish him off in a couple moves. Making sure to use my group taunt as I finish people off. Another 14k Shadow Strike, as you can tell, getting huge crits, which is good for this broken up fighting. Going forward, doing some other big attacks here, and there's a steady stream of people coming in, so we still haven't captured this captured this control point yet. But I'm doing huge DPS. I stun one person on the edge, move forward to the side, and then do some DPS. Now this guy, as you can see, he puts a lot of delayed damage on me, but I use my resilience just as it's going off. And I'm sorry guys, but that's one of those things where your timing has to be perfect and you have to roll class. Because I have a tactics vanguard, I'm used to hearing and seeing the delayed damage, and because of that, I was able to dodge roughly around about 25k damage in one global cooldown using one defensive, which is very good. Help me stay alive, help me negate a bunch of his attacks, and wait until the rest of my teammate comes. So that just comes from knowing the class very well and being able to do something with it. We capped this control point finally, and I'm just doing some DPS around the Juggernaut that's causing our team some trouble. I'm making sure one of us is in the control point, but as you notice throughout this entire thing, I'm constantly moving around. I'm constantly getting behind people's backs. I'm moving around pillars, being very hard to attack. And this is how I stay alive in these types of war zones. They have a healer, they have a DPS. Clearly, people on our team have been dying this entire game, but I haven't really died that much because I'm making myself very hard to attack. I'm using my defensives at the right times. I'm LOSing around pillars, and generally being hard to attack. But unfortunately, I cast my power up way too late, or I probably should have used that earlier, and we died. So in this game, obviously, I get a very big amount of objectives. I definitely capped some control points, got some decent DPS and protection around the node, and I hope this game helped you guys. Thanks for watching as always. I'll make sure to post a bunch of my other classes that I haven't posted in a while. I wanted to make sure I was getting everyone, and it's been a while since I did my last shadow video. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit me up with a subscription and a like, please, and I'll see you next time.